If you're thinking about applying for a US visa or even getting your green card process started, you're probably noticing all of the confusion out there with everything that's going on inside the world of immigration. Some people are saying you should file now before things get harder, and others are saying you should wait until the system stabilizes. So what's really the truth? Should you apply now or should you wait till later? In this video, I'll walk you through what's actually happening inside of USCIS and the US consulates, what we're expecting in 2026, and how to decide what's right for your situation. The administration's transition earlier this year caused a lot of chaos and delays, especially at US consular operations and USCIS processing. Visa retrogression continues, especially for employment-based categories like EB2 and EB3, but certain high-demand categories may stabilize coming mid-year. Fee structures and filing costs are expected to rise again due to budget realignment and backlog management. Priorities in STEM, healthcare, and critical technologies remain favorable for high-skilled visa petitioners, but scrutiny is definitely increasing in speculative or weak cases. The key takeaway here is that the US is not necessarily closing its doors, although it feels like it, because it's definitely tightening how evidence is being evaluated. People who should file now include professionals who have really strong evidence that they qualify for the visa classification that they are seeking. For example, advanced degree holders who are researchers working to advance scientific knowledge or critical technologies may be in a great position to apply even during heightened scrutiny. Applicants whose priority dates are current or close to becoming current should really start gathering the documentation to file their green card or adjustment of status. Applicants whose priority dates are close to current or are current should be preparing to file their adjustment of status or their immigrant visa applications abroad, especially because the backlogs could worsen later on next year. And if you're already inside of the United States with a valid non-immigrant status like an O, an H, or an F, you may qualify to file for your adjustment of status, and you should definitely consider doing so as soon as you're eligible. And those in high demand sectors with concrete achievements should really consider filing their NIWs or maybe their EB1As if eligible sooner rather than later, because there are rumors that regulatory changes may be coming. So in short, if your credentials are strong, you have the evidence, it's not really time to wait, it's time to act. If you're unsure of whether your case is strong enough now to file, or if you should work on your profile a little bit, click the link in my bio, request a free case evaluation, and we're happy to review. I offer a free case evaluation where I'll analyze your background, your credentials, your timing, even your visa, to make sure that filing right now or waiting a little bit is in your best interest. Again, you can file the link in the description below. Now let's discuss who might benefit from waiting. For sure, if you need to strengthen your evidence, or maybe you're waiting for a critical publication or an award, or maybe you're planning on presenting at an important conference or getting that government-funded research, it may be worthwhile waiting. Those people outside of the United States whose cases are weak and have not yet established their connection to their field in the United States could also benefit from waiting and taking this time and opportunity to get those roots, make those connections in the US. That will certainly help you strengthen your future petition. And of course, people affected by priority date retrogression have no other choice but to wait. However, it doesn't mean that you don't have other options to come to the United States until you're able to file for either your green card inside the US or maybe your immigrant visa outside of the US. And of course, people affected by visa retrogression have no option but to wait, but it doesn't mean you're left without options. There are many non-immigrant visa options that certain individuals can benefit from and bridge the gap until they're able to file for their green card or immigrant visa abroad. And if you're thinking about filing an individual high-skill self-petition like an NIW or an EB1A, if your petition feels incomplete or you're just speculating, or even if your work heavily depends on future plans, you may want to consider using early 2026 to build your profile. My recommendation recommendation is not to rush to file a weak case. In both scenarios, you should start gathering your evidence. Make sure you have your degree equivalency, your diploma, your official transcripts, document any new achievements, and any recognitions you have or planning to obtain. I think it's also really important for people to remain educated, track the policy changes, learn to read the visa bulletin. Sometimes small changes can open up short filing windows. Start thinking about your exhibits, and also don't ignore your civil documents. Make sure they are in order because you will need them for any visa application or even your petition. One thing you can also consider, if you're eligible, of course, is securing your priority date with an EB-2 national interest waiver. We all know there are some delays when it comes to NIWs, but if you have a strong enough case later on, maybe in a year or so, you can upgrade to an EB-1A. This is a strategy that I sometimes follow in my office, especially for my clients from countries like India or China, whose EB-2 NIWs are severely backlogged. So the forecast for 2026 is as follows. In the short term, we're expecting consular delays, continuing backlogs, and a lot of different policy changes. In the mid-year, hopefully there will be some rebound in processing times and once staffing stabilizes. I think for late 2026, outcomes are going to depend on the administration's policy directions and for those high demand fields like technology, healthcare, and other research areas. I think that 2026 overall will favor those very highly skilled applicants and people whose evidence is really strong, especially if you are advancing scientific research and you have citations or government funding. I think these people are in the best position to apply, especially for NIWs, and for EB-1As. I do expect to see a lot of tightening in the criteria and the adjudication as well. So should you apply now or wait? Here's my advice. If your case is already strong, don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is never going to come. But if your evidence still needs work, use 2026 to strengthen your profile, collect those strategic pieces of evidence so you can have the strongest case possible for 2026. And if you really want to understand what's driving adjudication delays and changing processing times, make sure to watch my next video. In it, I explain why wait times keep changing and what that means for your case. The link to the video is right here. See you there.